What's up, everybody? It is Mr. Price back at our favorite hedgerow. Oh yeah, back at our favorite hedgerow to talk about our ecosystem field walk number 5, all about sustainability and 7 generations. Let's go.
All right, so the first part of this assignment is sort of a review of our sustainability lesson. And what I asked you to do in class, so hopefully you should have this done already, is create your own sustainability model. So as a reminder, we looked at the 3 spheres model, the tree model, nested spheres, and what's called the 3 pillars. So using models is a great tool in scientific thinking to help us sort of take complex problems and break them down into their simple parts. And this sort of helps us make decisions. So at all sort of levels of the scientific community, up to our top level scientists making really big decisions about climate change, down to, something like our classroom, we can use models to sort of help us enhance our thinking and think about these problems. So I made my model here, which you can see. I'm pretty proud of it. I think I did a great job. So I'm going to sort of share mine with you and then show you how you can do something similar. So the one requirement of the model is you're including reference to those 3 spheres: environment, society, economy. And you'll notice I didn't center economy in the same way as some of those other models did, because personally to me that is less important. So first, just a little of the process stuff here. So how do you actually make these fun boxes and whatnot? So if you go up to Insert in Word, you can do different shapes. There's all these different shapes you can insert. So here's this fun box. I'm just going to get rid of that. Let's see what else there's icons that you can pull up and add. So some of these might be useful. Maybe I just really need this banana. This banana is super important to my ecosystem model. So I did pull this picture here of the mossy tree from the internet. I just did a Google image search and inserted the picture. So you're welcome to get as creative as you want here. Also, if you prefer to draw this on paper and would like to just shoot me a picture, that is how I would do it in the classroom. We'd be sketching these out, not using any technology to do it. So feel free to do that as well, whatever works for you. So to walk through my model, so I'm sort of imagining, I really think the environment and our planet are sort of the most crucial piece in any sort of sustainability model. It is literally foundational. So I decided that I want the environment to be this tree trunk here. So we've got this tree trunk that represents the environment, and I say the tree works to support us by sending roots deep into the ground to bring life to human society. So I'm sort of imagining the Earth bringing these externalized resources, such as photosynthesizing, bringing in energy from outside our biosphere, and sort of recognizing how important that is. I know Robin Wall Kimmerer in that video we watched in class talked about humans being more like moss, and that really spoke to me. Moss are really cool little organisms. So I wanted moss to be the society here. So for reference, I just searched for mossy tree stump, and this is what came up in terms of images. And then it had the flowers, which really worked out in my favor. I'll explain that in a minute. So I'm imagining human society is in a reciprocal relationship with nature, meaning we are taking, but we're also giving back. The environment feeds us and gives us what we need to survive. And what moss does, which is pretty cool, is it has this sort of mutual relationship with trees where it does sort of send little tendrils into the tree's cambium layer or through the bark and takes water out of the tree. But what it also does is it collects water in the fog and brings water to the tree. So it sort of takes and gives back. So what's kind of interesting here is we can have this I think it's a great representation of human society. So when the Earth is struggling, we can use some of our resources to support the Earth and vice versa. So there is that mutual relationship there. So the flowers, I thought, represented all these different little pieces that I feel are really important to having a sustainable world and sustainable society. So I have culture, love, reciprocity, once again meaning that sort of recognizing that we're taking from the Earth and need to sort of be part of the natural world and be giving back. Having balance, as we've talked about in ecosystems, recognizing the work of our ancestors, recognizing the needs of future generations. So thinking about that 7 generations thinking. So here's where I put the economy. I didn't put the economy specifically. I think personally that meaningful work is important to all of us, doing work we enjoy, and that's going to look different for everybody. So I thought this as a category felt a better fit to me for my model than just saying economy specifically, but I did put it in parentheses so I knew what you were talking about. And then having community, both human community and non-human community. So here is my description, which I won't read to you to keep this a little bit shorter. So yeah, part 1 here, you're making your model and then you're just describing your model in 3 to 5 sentences. So we'll head back to the field now and see if we can answer these questions. And then I will just post these questions at the end. This assignment will also, my sample will be available to you on Canvas if you want to reference it at any point.
All right, we're back ready for our outdoor observations. So I'm just going to go through question by question and walk through my thinking for this ecosystem, which I hope will be helpful for you. So let's head to question 1. Question 1. If your ecosystem were going to survive and thrive 7 generations, what would need to happen? What are barriers or challenges to your ecosystem survival? All right, so we've already talked about the 7 generations principle, right? So that's 200 years. We're talking about having a healthy ecosystem without human management for 200 years, which is a fat minute. That's a pretty long time, right? So we want to sort of think back to last week's classes when we're thinking about what makes an ecosystem healthy and thriving. We want balance. We want balance in our food web. We want to make sure we have plenty of plants to photosynthesize and bring new energy into the ecosystem. We want to make sure we have good food sources for our consumers, right? So this is really, really challenging to think about truly having a sustainable ecosystem. So don't be surprised if in your observations you're like, I don't know if that's happening, Mr. Price, because you're probably right. So let's go ahead and take a look at our hedgerow here. So if you watched the video last week, you know we have about 14 or 15 different types of primary producers of plant species in here. And some of those are good food sources for insects, like this yarrow. This is good sources for native bees. We've even got flowers in the winter. It is January 8th here, so it's pretty darn cold outside. But some of our bees are still awake and looking for food. So that's a good food source for insects. We've got things like Oregon grape here, which you can see starting to make its little buds. Those are going to become new branches as well as new berries for bird food. So we've got a couple sources of food for upper level consumers as well as decomposers down here in our wood chips. I think if we dig down a little bit, we might even be able to see somebody. There's some roots. Who else is down here? I don't know. Not seeing anybody awake right now. That's cool though. But that's really good habitat. So I think I can safely say we have good habitat sources for both plants, animals, and insects. So I feel pretty good there. However, often with ecosystems, the challenge is going to come from competing species. So I've mentioned that all these species that we have planted in our hedgerow here are native to our region. They're going to feed plants and animals that have been here since before human beings ever set foot on this land. However, over here, we've got some non-native grass species, some pretty gnarly competitive things like this is Canadian thistle here, which spreads underground. And you can already see this grass is encroaching into our hedgerow. So I think one of the biggest challenges to sustainability is going to be some of these other species we may not really want here moving into our ecosystem. So you might say, wait, Mr. Price, isn't that more biodiversity? Yes, it is more biodiversity. So in some ways, yes, that might be a good thing. However, it's all about balance, right? Some of these plants down here are not going to play well with some of our native species. So I think we actually got an example over here. Here we go. You can see Here's an Oregon grape plant here, which is native. That's this guy. Getting sort of grown over with vetch, which is this plant here, which is a really cool plant, really pretty. But it's gonna make it hard for that Oregon grape to photosynthesize if it gets all covered up. And additionally, all these plants that we didn't plant are competing for nutrients with this Oregon grape. So I'm gonna guess, if I'm to sort of look out in this time scale, look out 200 years, this might just be sort of overgrown with these weedy plants, and our native plants might not exist anymore. Some of the taller stuff, the roses, the trees, they might do okay, but I'm not totally positive things are gonna make it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for question 1. All right, next couple questions are all about them 3 spheres: environment, economy, society. Love them all. Personally, I love the environment the most. Sorry, I'm not sorry. All right, so the next question, question 2. What services does your ecosystem provide to the environment, society, and the economy? So when we're talking about services here, remember we did that exercise in class where we looked at things like, what do you need to do to like create a pair of shoes, for example? We need humans to do that labor. We need rubber, which is harvested from the earth from rubber trees. We need cotton, usually, which is a plant that's harvested. Those are all environmental resources, right? And then we've got humans in the economy doing the work. And then we need to have a culture around our shoes and society to make sure, you know, A, we all want to wear them, and B, we're all like wearing cool kicks, like Jordans or something. Know what I mean? So all these 3 spheres are connected. So let's talk about services here. What can this ecosystem provide? So I'm going to start with the environment because that's often the easiest to think about. We know that ecosystems provide energy. All these plants are photosynthesizing, especially in the summertime. We got a lot of green growth on them. They are photosynthesizing, bringing energy from the sun, converting it into usable sugars that then go into the soil, which then are eaten by other insects, which are then eaten by larger birds, which are then eaten by us. Okay, we're not out there eating birds. We're not out eating birds. But this energy does make it to us. This is a meaningful benefit to human society as well as the larger ecosystem. Now, some of these plants, technically, like you can see, this elderberry right here, my dude, this elderberry is only 1 year old. It's so big already. I don't know what happened. They grow up so fast. But you can see this trunk is already pretty thick. It's kind of surprising. So over time, we might actually be able to harvest wood from this elderberry and say burn it for firewood. So that is what you call a natural resource. So those are 2 environmental benefits. There are more, but I don't want to have this video be 40 minutes long. All right, let's hop over to society. So one thing I think this hedgerow in particular gives us is beauty. Here's how the rest of the farm looks right now. It looks like a sea of plastic tarps because it's winter and not very many vegetables grow over winter. This ain't that much to look at. It's not very pretty. But if I look over here, I'm like, oh, look at all these flowers, these plants, all these pretty things I get to look at. So for society, this gives a lot of beauty. Also, in the springtime, a lot of these plants are medicinal and have been used by our Coast Salish nations since time immemorial. So rose hips, that's good medicine. Oregon grape makes good medicine from the roots. Elderberry is great for fighting off colds. There's no berries on these elderberries right now. But most of these plants here have medicinal value to humans. Really, really good stuff. Yarrow, also medicinal, good for calming. Cool stuff, right? Let's see, how does this benefit the economy? All right, so I'm gonna have to reach for this one a little bit, but this is part of the exercise. I would argue that because we have this beauty on the farm, that is gonna make more people want to come visit and see what we're doing and maybe purchase some vegetables from us. So having beauty in our space helps encourage people to come and interact with our programming and maybe buy some stuff so we can buy you more rain gear. Woo! Good stuff, right? All right, that's what we got for question 2. Next question. What are environmental factors that influence your ecosystem survival? Give at least 2 examples and explain your reasoning. All right, I kind of did this before, so I'm gonna make this quick. Number 1, these non-native grass species that are encroaching into the edges of our hedgerow. That is probably the primary environmental factor. I'm gonna say the second one would probably be climate change, impacting how much precipitation and water we're getting. So if the climate continues to change, which it definitely will, it gets warmer, we may see less precipitation, which means these plants might die. There you go, 2 environmental factors impacting sustainability. Question 4, what are economic factors that influence your ecosystem survival? Give at least 2 examples and explain your reasoning. All right, this one's pretty easy. If they decide the farm sucks and fire us and don't have classes here, well, this ain't gonna look very good because nobody's gonna be here to take care of it and weed it. So you can imagine how overgrown this would be. I would consider that an economic factor. So like myself being employed, having a farm programming, having you all out here participating, that's a pretty big deal. That's what keeps the farm healthy. Let's see. Thing number 2. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having trouble thinking about a second economic factor right now. Let me think. Okay, here's one. Let's say our priorities change and the district wants to use this site for something else. They might destroy this space and pave it over to make room for like a new school building or something, which would be really sad for me, but maybe that's what the district would want to do. So there you go, 2 economic factors. All right, next question, 2 social factors that impact the sustainability of this ecosystem. So right now, all of our staff is dedicated and our programming is dedicated to the idea of sustainability. So there's a lot of farms out there that are solely focused on growing food. Now, it is my belief that having spaces like this that encourage biodiversity and bring other species into our ecosystem that benefit the farm, that is absolutely tied to our food production and means we are better at our primary function of growing food for our community. However, some people might disagree. So if that sort of societal idea shifted and we became like, maybe there's a food shortage someday and we're like, okay, we got to forget these hedgerows and turn every green space on the farm into food production because we have to grow more food for our community. Maybe that would happen. Maybe that societal change would result in this hedgerow going away. I think another major societal shift, so here's my second thing, by the way. Thing 2, if we had a major societal shift, some sort of collapse that occurred, and we ended up, sorry, there's some cute dogs over here, which I think you can probably see. I call them the Fluffersons. We all get distracted by the cute dogs sometimes. They like to stare at you. Okay, so if we have a big societal collapse or shift, and we all have to shift our priorities away and focus on our own survival, that would definitely impact the sustainability of this ecosystem. So there are my 2 things. All right, so this question, we're getting into sort of the solutions here. So what changes would we need to see in those 3 spheres, environment, economy, society, to make this ecosystem sustainable? Well, first, I think we need to start valuing, we as a society need to change what we value. We need to start recognizing the benefits of biodiversity and diverse ecosystems, and understand why we need things like plants and insects to literally keep the world sort of turning, so to speak, or regenerating energy. It's all about that energy regeneration in my mind. So there's one thing for society. I guess that's kind of for environment too, really. Like it goes from society to the environment. We need to sort of reprioritize what we're doing with space. So here's an interesting example I sometimes think about. If we hop over here to Waller Road, look how wide this road is. This road could be like 30% smaller and not even impact traffic at all. We could have a lot more trees planted along the road. Just like, look at how bare this is in many ways. Like, look, even along the farm property here, there's nothing growing. We could be increasing our tree canopy, increasing our biodiversity, but that's not a priority of society. So I think the more we make that shift and recognize the value of having these living species sort of in communion with our with human society, the better off we're gonna be. So that's what I would say, like some things that I think really need to shift. And I think we need to look at the natural world as more of something that has monetary value or that will just make us money. So when we cut down a forest, people are only really interested in making money, because cutting down a forest is awful for ecosystems and biodiversity. So we have to find some balance there. So there you go, there's that answer. All right, this is my favorite question. What if all those changes I suggest occur? What is this gonna look like? I think about this a lot. I imagine this space, all these plants are grown up and they've had babies. There's towering trees. There's birds that have, multiple birds that have made nests in this ecosystem. They're out here eating these rose hips. You know, who have we got? We've got this elderberry. This elderberry is gonna be like 35 feet tall. Oh man, I got so excited thinking about this. So we have this beautiful, diverse, thick hedge that like a human can't even fit in, because there's so many plants and other animals living and growing there. So that's what I'd love to see. Now, if those changes don't occur, I have a feeling this is just going to be covered in grass and thistle, and maybe a couple of these plants will be eking out survival, like these roses here I bet would do okay, but they are not going to be thriving, and they won't be very good habitat for other birds and insects and higher level consumers. All right, so I know that was kind of a long one, but this assignment is all about analysis, connecting those three different spheres, connecting human society, connecting the economy, and then thinking about environment and natural resources to physical spaces. So I know we're getting into like, we're doing some big brain stuff this week, but that's what it's all about. So I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to give me some feedback on this video. I apologize it's so long, but this man likes to talk. What can I say? Have a great week. Good luck with this assignment. Always check in if you need support. I will see you next week with another video.